it's Jenny and welcome to the BookTube Club in December. I actually don't have any food right now even though I'm at home and my home is full of food. But I mean, come on guys, it's the holidays. We could all use a little bit of break from eating. So, let's talk about the books that we read this month. First book I'm gonna mention today is a book that I actually read last month but I forgot to mention, so I just thought I'd just stick it in there because maybe some of you guys might be interested, maybe not, who knows. It's In the Afterlight, or The Rotten Banana Book as I'd like to call it, by Alexandra Bracken, the third and last book in the Darkest Mind series. I liked it a lot. It had a little bit of a second book syndrome, especially in the Liam-Ruby relationship department, because Liam and Ruby were separated throughout most of the Neverfade, so they had to go through the typical YA dystopian relationship drama in this book. I liked the way how it was resolved. It wasn't like a lot of other typical dystopian books where it's like, oh, we defeated the villains and everything's fine, but it ended kind of in a resolved / open note that even though you know, things ended in a certain way, there were still a lot of problems to be handled. I wouldn't say anything stood out particularly in either a positive or negative way, so it was a very solid story, and in total, I really enjoyed The Darkest Minds. Then I read the first book in the Seven Realms series, which is The Demon King by Cinda Chima, and the first book is a little bit weak. The first book is a little bit, like, the main characters, I didn't really feel them that much, and neither Han nor Reza. Reza is slightly annoying in the first book, slightly bratty, but I think it's important to see her very princessy side in order just to be able to experience her future character growth, which does happen, because right now I love Reza and I think she makes a really great character, a very strong female character as well. So I think The Demon King was a little bit of a weaker story. It set up the world, but it didn't really flesh out the world that much. But now that I'm done with the series, I know that, you know, all the other three books, they fill out the world nicely, they fill out the characters nicely, the characters develop really nicely. And going into the book, I could feel that it was going that way, so I was okay with The Demon King. It wasn't one of the best YA fantasy books out there, but it was good. Next, I read The Martian, which is a science fiction book. It's about a guy who gets stranded on Mars. He's part of a Mars program, and his crew gets into a certain crisis and they think he's dead, so they kind of take off and he's left behind, but he has all this other supply which is left. He tries to survive until the next Mars mission in order to be saved and to go back to Earth. So there's a lot of very sciencey elements in it. There's a lot of like chemistry and physics in it where he's trying to create oxygen and water and electricity and etc. And it's a survival story basically, and it's really interesting because the book is surprisingly funny. Like the main character, he's a very funny and sarcastic guy, so his situation seems to be very dire, but he still manages to either piss everyone off or make the reader laugh. So in that sense, I really like the book. And the last two books that I read, and I've already mentioned it, is the rest of the Seven Realms series. So that's The Exiled Queen, The Werewolf's Throne, and The Crimson Crown. I really like the combination of Reza and Han, or Han and Dancer, because they're just like a powerhouse. And while reading it, I realized that there are actually some similarities between the Seven Realms and Star Wars, partly also because the main character's name is Han, and then also because the original queen is called Hanalea, amongst other things. Then there are some storylines, you know, like the separated at birth, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna really go into it because it would just turn really spoilery. But the more I thought about it, I was like, there are quite a few similarities to Star Wars here. So there's that. That's what I read in December. What did you read this month? This month was a lot better than last month. I'm really happy with what I read. And my next video is gonna be my top 10 books of this year. I'm excited. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye!